Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to cilinixfxcapital. Hope you're all doing great, and welcome back to this new video, obviously, on XRP. Wanted to do a full update on the current situation, bit of an emergency update, of course, given what's going on with the markets. US equities, or at least the futures for US equities, opened very, very bearish. They're not strong, and just in general, the market as a whole has opened very, very weak as well. We're seeing a bit of recovery right now, but ultimately the volume with this recovery is quite low. And it's very much in line with what we're seeing from the S&P 500 futures, which, as you can see in the last hour, have also been a bit stronger. But ultimately, this is nothing conclusive yet, all right? And therefore, talking about XRP, which obviously is the main theme of this video, it's still very uncertain whether we can actually find some sort of a bottom here, whether this is the bottom or whether we're going to drop down lower. So in general, look, I'll tell you what I think the different possibilities are for XRP here. But in general, it is going to be very volatile. There's a ton of different scenarios, so know that, all right? I thought it would be more likely, given my thoughts on the stock markets, that we would have a chance to hold this level. Technically, we still do have a chance to hold that level at 1.95, but then we would need a very, very bullish opening of US equities later today. So that we can reclaim that and get back into the range. At this point of time, although this is a realistic scenario, if we actually do get a massive recovery, I would not count on this. All right, if it happens, great, I will long XRP, but I would not count on it. So far, we found support. Our current bottom is right here at like 1.6, which if you watch my long-term XRP video, was the first level where I would say I was going to buy. I chickened out. All right, the uncertainty in the market right now is just too much for me to do that. I did place some limits on Bitcoin, but that was the only one. I mean, yesterday in the Signal group, we did have some limits on Bitcoin and XRP at this level, but at the last minute, I pulled out of XRP. So far as holding, but like I said, there's no certainty yet that this is going to be the bottom. I mean, it's a relatively low volume move up, and it's still going to depend a lot on the continuation of the equity markets today, because that is the main thing driving the markets right now. All right, so far, like I said, this bottom, I mean, it seems like we've actually found some sort of a local bottom here. It's a little too early to confirm that, but it looks like Bitcoin also wants to reclaim this fair value gap here. And at least on the lower time frames, gain some strength. XRP is going to follow that, all right, because the correlation between XRP and Bitcoin is about 81.2%. So we're talking about XRP, but we're basically talking about Bitcoin. So for me, the main level we still have to look at is this level right here at 1.75. All right, I think if XRP is going to be able to hold to like reclaim 1.75, I think this is a local bottom, all right? And I think on the lower time frames we can actually find some support here. And if we're unable to break above 1.75 here, so if we reject from that, we're most likely going lower, all right? And then I'm looking at the POC of this very small balance we had at 1.45 and 1.5 as my next support. So short term, 1.75 is the main level to look at. Reclaim that, and we found a local bottom. Reject from that, and we're most likely going to drop down lower. And then later today, in the second half of today, because we have to be short term like this, in the second half of today, it's going to depend on how the stock market opens. All right, will we see recovery? Then we can move back up to 1.95 and $2, and we have a chance to even reclaim that. Will we not see recovery? Will we see more uncertainty and a continuation down? Again, we're going to drop down into 1.5, 1.45. Where the next major liquidity zone would be this level right here at 1.15, but I do not expect that for now. Those are my thoughts, all right? That's what I think you need to know regarding XRP right now. So like I said, short term, it all depends on 1.75 and the reaction to that. And then after that, but I will keep you updated on that later. I'll be back with a new video a bit later today. It's going to depend on whether we are going to be able to get some sort of recovery in the equity markets. But that's it, all right? It's very dependent, like I said. It's very difficult to predict right now what's going to happen. If I would have to give you my most likely scenario, I would say that a local bottom has been found here, at least for the first half of the day. But that is not something, like I said earlier, I'm trading. But those are my thoughts. That's what I think you need to know for now. If you do have any questions, let me know down in the comments. But for now, thank you for watching. Take care and bye.